Manual handling training. Welcome to the first part of your manual handling training. This course is comprised of two parts, part 1 theory, part 2 practical assessment. When completed, they will give you a basic understanding of legislation, the principles of manual handling, and the correct manual handling techniques required. By using the knowledge learned, you will minimize the risk of back injury. There will be a multiple choice quiz at the end of the presentation. The pass mark is set at 80%. You will be allowed 2 attempts at this quiz. If viewing this presentation on a tablet or phone, select Landscape Mode. Why attend manual handling training? To prevent back injury and its consequences. The back is particularly vulnerable to injuries. Injuries are extremely painful, slow to heal, and will affect everything we do. The extreme pain experience will decrease mobility. Injuries will affect hobbies, family life, and social life. Financial consequences if you're unable to work due to an injury. The importance of good back care. To take care of your back, you only have one. Always maintain the natural curve of your spine, the S shape. Objectives. At the end of this session, you will be able to understand the basic functions and makeup of your back, identify legislation associated with manual handling, carry out the 8 principles of safe manual handling, and most importantly, know when to stop. Why do manual handling? Manual handling is a key part of any working day for most employees. Manual handling injury also accounts for up to 40% of work-related absence through injury within the workplace. Anyone involved in the moving and handling of goods, equipment could be at risk of sustaining injury through poor posture or inappropriate manual handling. It's an employee's duty to carry out any duty as required by your employer, cooperating with all processes and procedures to enable that duty to be performed safely and effectively. Course outline. We'll be looking at law, anatomy, fitness, manual handling hazards, means to avoid or reduce manual handling, good handling techniques and practice, dealing with unfamiliar loads, personal protective equipment, PPE, and good housekeeping. Back pain statistics. Back injuries amount to 27% of all non-fatal injuries reported to the HSA between 2018 and 2022. 4 out of 5 adults will experience back pain at some stage when not lifting anything. 50% of people off work with back pain will have a reoccurrence within 1 year. 5% of back pain leads to prolonged disability, and it's equally common among male and females. The highest number of days lost to injury per person were in the transport sector, 766 days per 1,000 workers, followed by construction, agriculture, forestry, and fishing. Back pain factors. Heavy manual work, forceful exertion, bending or twisting, working in a stoop posture, prolonged sitting in a fixed position. Everyday stress can cause the muscles to tense, vibration from tools and machinery. Over time, wear and tear on the spine from poor manual handling may result in long-term conditions, example disc degeneration. Aging, sedentary lifestyle, lack of exercise, and excess weight also puts stress on the lower back. Remember, always work in your power zone to stay healthy. What is manual handling? Manual handling is defined as the transporting or supporting of a load by one or more employees and includes lifting, putting down, pushing, pulling, carrying or moving a load, which by reason of its characteristics or of unfavorable ergonomic conditions involves risk, particularly of back injury. Manual handling means using your body to exert force to handle, support or restrain any object, including people or animals. It is not just the lifting or carrying of heavy objects. It includes lifting, pushing, pulling, holding, lowering, throwing, carrying, packing, assembling, cleaning, sorting and using tools. The term manual handling is not limited to handling heavy objects. Pushing a trolley or using a keyboard are all examples of manual handling. Remember, it is much more than just lifting. The definition of manual handling: any transporting or supporting of a load by one or more employees, and includes lifting, putting down, pushing, pulling, carrying or moving a load which, by reason of its characteristics or unfavorable ergonomic conditions, involves risk, particularly of back injury, to employees. Legislation. Safety, Health and Welfare at Work Act 2005. Legislation provides minimum standards to protect the safety and health of workers. The 2005 Act places specific duties on both employers and employees, and these duties are general to any aspect of safety, health and welfare within the workplace. Section 8 deals with the duties of the employers, Section 13 deals with the duties of the employees, and Section 10 deals with training. Alongside this, we have the General Application Regulations 2007 in relation to manual handling of loads. The General Application Regulations 2007 are implemented under the Safety, Health and Welfare at Work Act 2005. They contain detailed legal requirements on 15 areas of health and safety. Part 2, Chapter 4, deals with manual handling of loads. And Regulations 68 and 69 deal with the definition of manual handling and the duties of the employer. Legislation. Safety, Health and Welfare at Work Act 2005. The Act states it shall be the duty of every employer to ensure, so far as is reasonably practicable, the safety, health and welfare at work of their employees. What is reasonably practicable? The 2005 Act defines what is reasonably practicable for a company. Legal duties. Reasonably practicable. For the purposes of the relevant statutory provisions, reasonably practicable in relation to the duties of an employer means that an employer has exercised all due care by putting in place the necessary protective and preventative measures, having identified the hazards and assessed the risks to safety and health likely to result in accidents or injury to health at the place of work concerned, and where putting in place any further measures is grossly disproportionate, having regard to the unusual, unforeseeable and exceptional nature of any circumstance or occurrence that may result in an accident at work or injury to health at that place of work. Safety, Health and Welfare at Work Act 2005. Section 8. Duties of the employer. An employer must provide a safe place of work, safe access and egress, safe plant, machinery, articles and substances, safe systems of work, safe work processes, adequate welfare facilities, reporting prescribed accidents and dangerous occurrences, provide information, instruction, training and supervision, implement necessary protective measures, have regard for the general principles of prevention, have adequate emergency plans, have a competent person to implement health and safety. Safety, Health and Welfare at Work Act, Section 13. Employees' duties. All employees must protect their own safety and health, as well as the safety and health of anyone who may be affected by their acts or omissions at work. Not be under the influence of any intoxicant to the extent that they could be a danger to themselves or others while at work. Cooperate with their employer with regards to safety, health and welfare at work. Not engage in any improper conduct that could endanger their safety or health or that of anyone else. Participate in safety and health training offered by their employer. Make proper use of all machinery, tools, substances, etc. and of all personal protective equipment provided for use at work. Report any defects in the place of work, equipment, etc. which may endanger the safety and health. Isolate the equipment immediately so it cannot be used. Report accidents and incidents as soon as possible to your supervisor or manager. Your supervisor or manager should complete a first aid form, accident report form or a dangerous occurrence form. General Application Regulations 2007. Manual handling of loads is in Part 2, Chapter 4. Regulations 68 and 69 deal with manual handling. It says avoid manual handling where possible. Where unavoidable, take measures to reduce the risk, assess manual handling risks, and provide information and training. Manual handling risk assessment. A careful examination of manual handling activities to determine whether they can cause harm or loss so that adequate precautions can be taken. And the processes in place, we have the characteristics of the load, the physical effort required to move the load, the characteristics of the working environment, and the requirements of the activity itself. Remember, identifying hazards is everyone's responsibility. You must assess your job to see if you are capable of doing it safely. For this you use an acronym TILE, T for task, I for individual, L for load, and E for environment. Now we look at the different letters of TILE, and first up we have task. Does the activity involve any awkward postures, holding loads away from the body, twisting, bending or stooping, reaching upwards, long distance to travel with the load, any forceful pushing or pulling, or is there repetitive handling? I for individual, that's you. Are you physically unfit? Are you ill? Do you have any injuries? In the case of females, are you pregnant? Do you have the strength, height, etc.? Are you untrained? Do you have manual handling training completed? Are you suitably attired? Is the clothing you're wearing suitable and unrestricting for the lift? L for load. Is the load heavy, bulky or unwieldy? Is it difficult to grasp? Is it unstable? Maybe it's got liquid under, liquid moves whenever you lift. Is it harmful, i.e. sharp or hot? E for environment. Is the floor slippy? Are there space constraints? Are there steps? Is it windy? Is it too hot or cold? Is there poor lighting? Anatomy. Why is it important? The musculoskeletal system of the body is designed for movement. In order to lift and handle an object safely, it is essential to have a knowledge of the system and its flexibility. Injuries and musculoskeletal disorders affect the back, neck, shoulder, arms and hands. Poor manual handling techniques normally affect the lower back, that's the lumbar section of the spine. Functions of the skeleton. The human skeleton performs some major functions: the shape of the person, support for the body, protection of internal organs, example the skull protects the brain, movement. The joints between the bones allow movement. The spinal column. Skeletal system, bones and joints of the spinal column. Facet joints, 33 facet joints, vertebrae, interlocking bones that form the spinal column. Discs, 24 discs separating the top vertebrae, and then the soft tissue is the muscle and ligaments. The spinal column, 33 irregular shaped facet joints, vertebrae, divided into 5 regions: cervical, thoracic, lumbar, sacral, coccyx. The upper 24 vertebrae are separated by discs, allowing various degrees of movement. And the S shape is the natural curve of the spine. That's something we have to maintain through all lifting techniques. Lumbar region most often injured when handling loads poorly, and then you have the sacroiliac joint, and affects ladies generally in pregnancy. Spinal column. The spinal column is a flexible column of 33 bones called vertebrae. There's 7 in the cervical section, 12 in the thoracic, 5 in the lumbar, 5 in the sacral, which are fused, and 4 in the coccyx, which are also fused. That makes a total of 33 vertebrae. Facet joints. The facet joints are connections between the bones of the spine. The nerve roots pass through these joints, go from the spinal cord to the arms, legs, and other parts of the body. These joints also allow the spine to bend and twist, keep the back from slipping too far forward or twisting without limits. And then we have the discs. The function of the disc is to cushion the shock, keep the vertebrae apart, allow the spinal nerves to exit freely, and allow the movement between vertebrae. There are 24 in total. Ligaments. Ligaments are tough non-elastic bands which hold bones together. They consist of fibrous tissue which allow a normal range of movement to occur at a joint, for example the knee joint. But if forced beyond the limit of its pliability, the ligament will tear. Ligaments heal slowly as they have a poor blood supply. And the facet joint here in 2 different positions. You have bending forwards and bending backwards. Now the 4 main functions of the spine that we have listed here are to protect the spinal cord, to allow movement, support the upper body, and to carry weight. Movements of the spine. The cervical, forward and backward, side bending, and rotation. Thoracic, rotation about 120 degrees, slight side bend, slight forward and backward. The lumbar, forward, backward, and side bending. Dangerous movements. A couple of illustrations here to show you what twisting can do, and arching of the back. Disc damage. On the top left you will see a normal disc where the nucleus and the annulus are in perfect condition, and if you move down to the middle image there you will see a herniated disc where the nucleus has been pushed either through the annulus or is causing a bulge in the annulus. Examples of disc problems there on the right, we have the normal disc on the top. As you can see, it's perfect, there's no bulging, there's no loss of fluid, but as you move your way down you have a degenerated disc, the bulging disc, herniated disc, thinning disc degeneration there with ossified formation. So everything from the normal down are going to cause pain. The degenerated and the thinning disc will actually compress the nerves and cause pain. The bulging disc and the herniated disc will press against the sciatica nerve, and that's where the pain runs right across your back, either down left or right leg, depending on where the bulge is. When are you most susceptible to injury? Early in the shift, when the body is cold, it's important that you warm up and prepare for your day. Lunchtime, when there's low blood sugar, and at the end of the day when fatigued. Mechanism of injury during manual handling: poor posture, unsafe handling techniques, careless actions, failure to assess. It's important that you assess every lift. Types of back pain. There are over 100 accepted causes of low back pain, that's the small of the back, wear and tear being the most common. 3 types of mechanical back injury which may be caused by poor manual handling practice are disc injury, soft tissue injury, bony injury. While bony injury and soft tissue injury will heal fairly quickly, disc injury will take longer to heal. So it's important that you look after your discs. Disc degeneration gradual. Nutrition cannot get to the disc dries out, lack of nutrition leads to disc degeneration, and you will experience high level of pain due to the pressure on the nerve endings. Sciatica pain. When pressure is applied on the spinal nerves, pain can be felt in several areas. Sciatica is caused by disc pressure on the sciatic nerve. This is a large nerve that runs from the lower back down the back of each leg. There are times when injuries or pressure on the sciatic nerve can cause pain in the lower back that spreads to the hip, buttocks, and down the leg. Wear and tear. Wear and tear effects can be noticed from as early as 25 years of age, earlier if there has been an injury. Heavy physical work over a long period causes wear and tear. Remember, we should only lift what we are physically able to lift at the time of the lift. Muscles are strained by overloading or a sudden stretch or unexpected movement. The more we overdo, the less we can do. Spinal disc, more information on it. 2 separate parts. You have the annulus, which is the outer ring, and then you have the nucleus, which is the center. The functions: it allows movement, cushions shock, separates the bones, and allows nerves to exit. On the left we have a healthy disc. As you can see, the nucleus sits in the center. On the right hand side we have a ruptured disc, and the nucleus has pressed out through the annulus and will press the spinal nerve against the bone, and this is where the pain originates from. And here's another angle where you can actually see the ruptured disc. You can see the nucleus has forced its way through the annulus and is pressing the nerve up against the bone. Here we have three images: unloaded, loaded and side load. And if you look at the arrows in the nucleus, you can see the unloaded are all black. We have two arrows red in the loaded. As you put pressure on the spine, it forces the nucleus outward. The side load, you can see there's an arrow on the left hand side in this case, as the compression is on the right. Muscles. The spine is strengthened and made movable by muscles. This makes your back flexible as opposed to a fixed bamboo-like situation. Prime movers, dynamic muscles, they initiate movement. Postural muscles that are static, they keep us upright. Postural muscles are not designed for lifting. Where muscular force has to be exerted, it should be done by the largest appropriate muscle groups available. The spine is strengthened and made movable by muscles. Posture muscles are not designed for lifting. We have over 600 muscles in the human body. The largest muscles are your quadriceps, thigh muscles. Bending the knees ensure that you use quadriceps when lifting. Between getting out of bed and starting work, we need to drink at least 500 milliliters of liquid, preferably water. We should drink up to 3 liters of water per day to keep hydrated. Muscle structure. Muscles are composed of bundles of fiber and have the ability to shorten and lengthen. This produces movement. Posture. Keep the spine in its natural S-shaped position so that the trunk is in alignment with minimal pressure on the joints and soft tissue. When standing, the straight line should go from ear through the shoulder, hip, knee and through the ankle. When sitting, the straight line should go from ear through the shoulder and the hip. When driving, don't drive with your hips lower than your knees. Make sure the backs of your knees do not touch the car seat base, as this is bad for your circulation and your knees. There should be at least a 2-finger gap between the back of your knee and the seat. Ideally, the back of your car seat should reach the height of your shoulders to support your thoracic area of the spine or rib cage. If it is slightly higher or lower, this is acceptable once you can still rest into it. Keep your back pockets free from everything, as this may throw the hip bones out of alignment and put pressure on the base of your back. Always have 3 points of contact accessing or exiting your vehicle. The benefits of good posture. Good back posture will keep your spine and muscles balanced. This will protect the structures of your back from pain and injury. Your internal organs will have room to function normally and blood circulates freely for the best level of total fitness. Correct posture. It is important to know the correct starting position for your back. Your major weight-bearing joints, neck, shoulders, lumbar spine, hips, knees and ankles are all in alignment. When standing against a wall, your head, upper back and buttocks should all touch the wall. At both your neck level and your lower back level, you should be able to fit your hand between your body and the wall. Maintaining good posture. If you need to outstretch your arms to lift a parcel, you're upsetting the natural balance of your body. When you work outside of your power zone using awkward postures, the parcel will feel heavier to lift. The bigger the distance from the parcel to the center of your body, the heavier the weight will feel. When moving and handling, keep your torso upright. Don't lean in or out if possible when lifting. If you need to bend a joint, try and keep the angle as close to 90 degrees as possible. Be active. Your body is designed to move. When you stay in one position for some time, your muscles become stiff and moving is difficult. This applies even when the position is comfortable. It is important that you change your position as frequently as possible. Make a point of stretching the whole of your body at frequent intervals. Flexibility. Poor flexibility of the back may lead to stiffness, poor posture, back problems, movement limitations, a higher risk of injury to muscles, tendons and ligaments. A regular habit of stretching will enhance your mobility throughout life. What is fitness? The ability to do one's daily work with enough energy left over, and we have strength, aerobic, that's the heart and lungs, flexibility, and endurance. Stretching. We all know that athletes perform stretches as part of their warm-up routine before taking to the field to start a game. For people who work in a job that involves lifting, carrying, or performing similar movements regularly, it is just as important that they also warm up their body at the start of their shift and throughout the shift by performing gentle stretches. In the same way that stretches prevent an athlete from injuring themselves on the sport field, stretches can help to combat the aches and fatigue that work can place on your body and prevent injuries from occurring. If you have an existing medical condition or injury that may be aggravated by exercise, it is important that you check with your doctor before performing any of the stretches attached. If you experience pain when performing stretches, cease the activity and speak to your doctor. Remember, when you stretch, do not bounce. Move smoothly and gently. Stretch to the point where it feels tight, but does not hurt. Never stretch to the point where pain is experienced. For most stretches, you should aim to hold the stretch for about 10 seconds and then relax. Regularly stretch muscles that you are using, such as those in the neck, shoulders, hands, wrists, and lower back. Preparation for your shift prevents injuries. Soft tissue injuries, body not warmed up. Muscles are torn when cold or overstretched. Ligaments are torn because they are not elastic. Ligaments may become slack due to disc degeneration. Overloaded. Muscles are torn if load is too heavy. Muscles do not have enough time to recover from the day before. 7 to 8 hours sleep each night is needed to recover. Objectives. Muscles relevant to manual handling. Safety when exercising. Benefits of fitness. Stretch breaks during the day. How to use the large leg muscles when moving and handling by bending your knees. Elements of a safe stretch. Warm up before exercise and cool down after exercise. Avoid sudden jerking movements. Stretch to the point of slight discomfort, no pain. Hold the stretch for 30 seconds and repeat 3 times. Relevant muscle groups. Flexibility, calves and hamstrings. Strength, the quadriceps, thigh muscles. For lifting, whenever you bend your knees, you engage the quadriceps. Abdominals, that's the stomach muscles. They're used whenever you're holding the load close to the body in the power zone. The benefits of fitness: more stamina and energy, decreased risk of injury, improved mental alertness, improved sense of well-being. You may live longer, if not you'll definitely get more out of life. The load. Consider the weight of any item that you need to lift, lower or move. Your body is strongest around the middle, that's your power zone. If you're unable to work within your power zone, is there equipment that could ease the lifting process for you? Remember, the more force required to lift, the greater risk of injury. Know your capabilities. Only tackle jobs you can handle safely. Poor handling techniques cause injury. Key risk factors: size and shape of the object or load, sudden or unexpected jarring movements. It's important you assess all loads before lifting, maintaining the same posture for long periods. Personal factors such as age, physical capabilities, and size. Awkward movements such as twisting, bending, overreaching, holding loads at your end range motion. Contributing factors: how long and how often the task is performed, the way in which the work is organized, the design and layout of the work environment, training, lack of, or over-familiarity with the task. Remember, most back injuries occur through an accumulation of wear and tear on the body, i.e. repeated small injuries that a person is not aware of at the time or choose to ignore. The final activity is usually not the entire cause of the injury, but the straw that broke the camel's back. The more often you do things correctly, the fewer accumulating incidents occur, and hopefully the longer your back will last. The nature of the load must be considered. The physical effort that is required at the place of work and working conditions in general must also be considered. Although the weight of an item is of relevance, the more important factor is how you lift. Where possible, eliminate the load. If the load has to be manually handled, follow the following 8 steps each and every time you move an object. Remember to stretch before, afterwards, and throughout the day. Some general rules of thumb: remember to bend your knees before you move any object. Bending your knees engages the quadriceps or your thigh muscles. Nose over toe will get you in close to the actual object or the load. The shoulders and the feet face the same direction. Never twist the body. Know your limit and when to stop and ask for assistance with the lift. 8 steps of manual handling. Your safety is in your hands. Assess the task, the area and the load. Form a broad, stable base with your feet flat on the floor. Bend your knees. Keep your back straight, neutral position, and avoid combining bending and twisting. Have a firm grip with the palm of the hand. Fingers are for dexterity and not weight bearing. Have the arms in line with the trunk. Hold the weight close to the center of gravity. That's your power zone. Turn feet and shoulders in the direction of movement. Assess the task. Can lifting be avoided using a mechanical aid? Has the load been assessed to ensure it is within your limits? Remember to know when to stop. Has the workplace been assessed to ensure best layout to improve efficiency? Are walkways free from obstruction? Have you received manual handling training? Broad, stable base. Take a comfortable stance with your feet shoulder width apart, facing in the direction you are going and as close to the load as possible. The distance between your feet should be around your shoulder width or a little bit more. Having either a very small stance or a very large stance both make it very hard to distribute the weight forwards or backwards. Have one foot slightly ahead of the other and that will give you a stronger base. Bend your knees. Bend the knees to keep the center of gravity within the base. Use the dynamic thigh muscles for lifting, not the weak postural muscles of the lower back. Back straight. This doesn't mean having an upright back. It shouldn't be bent as this places uneven strain on the discs, but you can bend at the hips. Bent knees and a straight back mean the central point of gravity remains over the weight, reducing strain. Never twist your back when lifting. Use your feet to change direction. Keep the natural curve of the back, the S shape. Firm palmar grip. Use the palm of the hand and the roots of the fingers rather than the fingertips. A diagonal hold is best. Place one hand under the object, the other hand on top of the opposite side. With smaller loads, both hands can be placed under the load. Keep arms in line with the trunk. Keep the load as close to the trunk as possible. You should be balanced and stable, yet be able to use your body weight to get the load moving easily. This is why it is important to wear the correct clothing, as holding a dirty load away from you will place unnecessary strain on your back. Keeping your arms close to the sides of the body reduces tension in the arms and shoulders. This, along with the broad base of the feet, gives you stability. Keep the load close. Keep the load as close to the trunk as possible in the power zone. Keep the heaviest side of the load next to the body. You should be balanced and stable, yet be able to use your body weight to get the load moving easily. The power zone is between your mid-thigh muscles and your mid-rib cage. Think of the belly button as the center of gravity. When you work within your power zone, the risk of muscular strain and injury to joints, tendons, and ligaments is reduced. Forces. 1 kilogram of weight close to the body exerts 10 kilograms of force onto the muscles of the back, and 1 kilogram of weight held at arm's length in your end range motion exerts 100 kilograms of force onto the muscles of the back. Feet in the direction of movement. When ready to lift, use your legs for the lift. This requires less force and counterbalances the load. Lift using a smooth action. Avoid twisting the back or leaning sideways. Shoulders should be kept level and facing in the same direction as the hips. Turning by moving the feet is better than twisting and lifting at the same time. A recap on the 8 principles of manual handling. 1. Assess the task, the area and the load using the tile assessment. Decide on the action required. Example, is the load to be lifted or pushed, and know the intended destination. To assess the load, push gently using your foot, hands or arms. 2. Establish a broad, stable base. Feet should be shoulder width apart. 3. Bend the knees. Bend the knees and lower the trunk. The load of the lift may be assessed at this stage by tilting it. 4. Ensure a good posture. Maintain a natural S curve of the spine. 5. Establish and maintain a firm grip. Grasp the load firmly using a full palmar on the surfaces. 6. Keep the arms close to the trunk. Ensure the arms are close to the trunk. Lift the head and rise, avoiding sudden movements. 7. Keep the weight close to the center of gravity. Ensure the weight is close to the body's center of gravity. 8. Use the feet to change direction to prevent injury. Use feet to change direction rather than twisting to turn. This image shows the feet moving in the direction of movement. From the pickup right through to the end, you can see that the feet are moving, hips and shoulders are turning with the feet. There is no bending or twisting while the load is being moved. And here we have some incorrect lifting techniques. Number 1, never bend over the load that you're lifting. Number 2, never bend over with your feet placed apart. 3, never stand too far from the load. 4, never lift far away from the center of gravity. 5, never twist with the load. 6, never lift with an incorrect grip. Always remember that if the load is too heavy, get help or use a mechanical aid such as a trolley. High lifts. When lifting to or from a height, keep your knees bent, tuck your chin in, transfer weight to the front leg when the load is being retrieved. Ensure to have a good grip. Transfer the weight to the back leg as the load is being lifted down. After you've moved to your destination, when reaching to place the load on the shelf, transfer your weight back onto your front leg and place the load on the shelf. Pushing or pulling a load. Stress on the spine is the same when pushing and pulling. However, pushing is easier as you can see where you're going. Pushing and pulling require the same techniques as lifting. A firm footing is most important as it allows the leg muscles to do the work. Get a firm grip with your arms almost straight. Keep the back straight. Bend the knees and use your legs rather than your arms or your back to move the object. 2 demonstration images here. On the left we have pushing and on the right we have pulling. Use mechanical aids whenever possible. Keep your back straight. Bend at the hips and knees. Let your legs do the work. Pushing is better than pulling. Pushing is easier as you can see over the load. If you can't see over the load, get help. Team lifting. If there is no equipment available that can make the work easier, ask a colleague or colleagues for help moving and handling the item. Be aware of the limitations of team lifting. Always work with people of similar height. Plan the maneuver, know where you're going. Agree a command to ensure a coordinated lift or movement. Always use the 8 principles of manual handling. An example of a command is 1, 2, 3 lift, 1, 2, 3 move, 1, 2, 3 stop, 1, 2, 3 lower. Remember to stop and think before you lift. Cages. Bending while lifting causes several problems for the back. It adds the weight of the upper body to the weight of the object being lifted. If a close approach to the load is not possible, try to slide it towards the body before attempting to lift it. Move items close to the body and use the legs when lifting from a low location to minimize bending and reaching. If a load cannot be moved closer to you, ask a colleague to step into the cage and pass the load to you. Do not step in or out of the cage while carrying a load. Awkward postures. Once again, remember, bending while lifting causes several problems for the back. It adds the weight of the upper body to the weight of the object being lifted. Bending and or reaching moves the load away from the body and allows leverage to significantly increase the effective load in the back, leading to stress on the lower spine and muscle fatigue. Carrying loads on one shoulder, under an arm, or in one hand creates uneven pressure on the spine. The Knight's position. This is used to remain stable and safe when working at low heights. Place one knee on the floor, maintain a natural spinal curve, keep the toes in the up position, rest knee on a soft surface if available, for example a knee pad. What is wrong here? This lady is doing a number of things incorrectly. She's reaching out away from the body into her end range motion, grabbing the parcel or the box with her fingertips. Her back is arched and the knees are not bent. Here on the left hand side, that's the correct technique in lifting. On the right hand side, you can see the back is arched, the legs are straight and not bent at the knees, and the feet are off the ground. In these images, the correct way is in green and incorrect in red. And here we have some pressure points from not carrying out the principles of manual handling. And here we have twisting. This is where the feet and the shoulders are not traveling in the same direction. Poor posture, marked in red, and then you have the green tick for the correct postures. It is important to remember the steps of safe manual handling. Assess the task, the area, and the load using tile. Form a broad, stable base with the feet shoulder-width apart. The feet flat on the floor. You are allowed to come up in the ball of one foot, but one foot must remain flat on the floor, with one slightly ahead of the other. Bend the knees. Keep the back straight. Form a firm palmar grip. Keep the arms in line with the trunk. Keep the weight close to the center of gravity in the power zone. Keep the head up and looking forward. Do not twist while lifting. Use the thigh muscles to lift the load when lifting. Turn the feet and shoulders in the direction of movement. There is legislation to help protect you. Being aware of your body and how it works will prepare you. Being flexible and fit will benefit you. Handling loads correctly is the only way. And some rules of thumb. Shoulders and feet face the same direction. Always bend your knees, and nose over toe will get you close to the load. Finally, remember that the prevention of back injuries is always better than the cure. Take care of your back, you only have one. Take care of it and it will back you up for life. Remember, nobody is immune to natural wear and tear. Use it or lose it.